Love Divine Light. Society. We are checking in with another round of Marz Majik. Yes, I know we were just here a couple of days ago. Nevertheless, we're back on this beautiful Saturn with a special pop-up episode. But one thing I want you to always remember, that this is where we speak truth, shift energy, and honor the voices shaping our community, all right? So we are still in the month of November, and we're going to continue to move through the energy of dedicating this month to the divine masculine, that energy of structure, protection, resilience, and righteous motion. Before we get into our grounding exercise, yes, we're going to breathe this round too. We can't go into an episode without breathing. Nevertheless, I do want you to remember, note, write it down. I don't know. If you can take a picture of it, take a picture. The views and opinions expressed on Marz Majik are those of the host and guest, and not necessarily a reflection officially of the station. All right. So listen with discretion and take what you need, leave what you don't. All right. So at this time, we'll do our breathing. We'll take a deep breath in. As we inhale, let's focus on inhaling strength. And as we exhale, release the weight that doesn't belong to you. All right. And on three, 1, 2, 3, inhale. I feel like I let go a lot right then. Like I could actually feel the pressure like come from the back to the front. So make sure that whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, that you at least take a moment throughout your day to be intentional about your breathing, especially when days start to seem stressful and bogged down. Just take a minute to breathe, all right? And breathe in all of those things that you want, that you desire, and release through your exhaling all of those things that do not serve you, all right? Tonight's affirmation is: I move with purpose. I stand in truth. My presence is power. All right. So tonight we're bringing in a brother who embodies hustle, transformation, and creative expansion. A CEO of an independent record label, Ruthless Killa's Records. You feel me? A gifted artist with his own lane of artistry, as well as a family man, a thinker, a builder, and now stepping into the world of film with vision and intention. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to some and introduce to others, Jerry Gibson Jr., a.k.a. JAG2. How you feeling?
Hey, that was a good intro, man. I'm good, man. I can't complain. You know, blessed, understanding that I'm blessed, and glad that I'm blessed. Let me say that.
Yes, indeed. So, Jerry, how do what you prefer to be for me to use this night? Jerry,
You know
Jag, what we doing?
I'm so used to being called Jerry, which I was never called by my government name growing up. But in the last couple of years, that's the number one name people use. So Jerry, cool, man. You know.
Okay. So for those listening, or watching on social media who might not be familiar with your journey and who you are and what you do, if you would tell us a little bit about who you are, what you stand for, and the mission behind what you're building.
Well, if you don't know who I am, man, I'm, my old slogan, I'm just a little old CEO from Albany, Georgia, man. You know what I'm saying? Born and raised here. I left Albany in 2005. You know, I had my own journey that I had to go down. Not knowing that this journey would turn into what it is now, to be honest, I'm not going to say it's overwhelming. I'm going to say I'm surprised. To be honest, to be where I am and do the things that I've done, I'm actually surprised. I didn't think it would be what it is now. But basically, though, I'm just a person. I'm just a person who understands his lane in life, and I just travel my highway, and the people that's with me, I feel like they're the passengers that was along my highway along the way. And we just get in the same whip and we just ride together.
Oh, that's deep. And, you know, if more of us would use that same process of thinking, right?
Yeah.
We as a people might actually be a little further along, actually knowing your lane. Like my grandma used to stay in your lane, you
Yeah.
feel me? And that phrase doesn't just apply to us riding in the car,
Yeah.
but it applies to actual life. But in order for you to stay in your lane, you have to know your lane.
Yeah.
And so what life experiences and happenings have actually helped you to realize your lane in order for you to maintain it?
I think getting divorced for one. I know that might sound crazy, but I think when I got divorced in 2013, that I was stripped of everything. And this is something I don't usually tell a lot of people. Like when I got divorced, I lost everything. All the things that I prided myself on, I lost in the blink of an eye. I went to work one day, I came home, house was gutted out, children were gone. All the stuff that I worked hard, it just showed me that you can have it today and it be gone tomorrow. And I had to go through the process of understanding that I had to focus on me and build me. I'm no good to nobody if I don't know who I am as a person. When I was in a relationship, I was able to not have to worry about me and able to do what I thought would make my spouse happy. You understand what I'm saying? But when I didn't have a spouse, it was just you. Then I had to look at the man in the mirror, and I wasn't happy with the reflection that I got when I looked at myself. So I had to go and find myself before I could be any good to anybody else in this world. I had to understand who I was as a person. So I did some soul searching, found out what made me tick, found out what made me happy, found out what I didn't want to deal with. Then before I got back into music, I prayed for it. I'll tell people all the time, I prayed. I asked God if it was meant for me to be back into music. I asked for certain things specifically a certain way, and he delivered a certain way. And I understand it. In the beginning, when I went through my divorce thing, a friend of mine, he passed away now. May he rest in peace. I remember we had a conversation, and he told me, he was trying to tell me how God was real. And I said out my mouth, God gonna have to come down here and show me himself, that he really controls things. And right after that, I went through probably the worst stretch of years in my life. He showed me he was real because he stripped me down to nothing, only for me to go through the process to build me back up. So nobody can ever tell me that it's a higher being and he's not real, because I've been broken down and rebuilt back up. But when he rebuilt me, he built me bigger than I was before. So that's why this journey makes sense to me now. And I tell people all the time, they give me praise, but I have to give the praise to the Creator because I'm able to bless other people. I'm a vessel. I understand it. So that's kind of how I tick and how I move in life now.
And, I appreciate you talking about, that experience, because there are a lot of people who, divorced or not, don't understand and appreciate the value of solidarity, right?
Yeah.
And solitude and being by yourself and spending time with yourself and feeling like we just have to be around other people all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot to be said for someone who has actually figured out that sitting with yourself and spending that time with yourself is what's needed in order for us to actually be able to grow past that.
Yeah.
And when we have experiences like that, though, coming home, your house being empty, your kids being gone, like that's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure, and it could send you into a very dark space.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so that's another piece, is that when we are having these hardships and we're going through these situations and experiencing circumstances, we don't allow them to actually become us, and we are able to see the good in them. You know what I'm saying? Because people be like, how you see the good and all of that bad? Because look at, again, like you said, look at the space that it put me in order to be able to live the life that I'm currently living and be actually happy with myself when I look in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? Because looking in the mirror and not liking what you see not doing anything about it, that's totally insane. All right.
Yeah.
So we as a people have to and that's why I'm happy for these stories and these interviews, because everybody's experience is different. Nevertheless, there's always something to be learned from it, if only we are to open ourselves and actually be receptive to learn from somebody else's experiences in order to make our life easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so you said something else though. You said when you came back to music.
Yeah.
Right? So I know you've been in the music game a long time. I remember like when you stayed off of eighth, even before then, but very vaguely, I mean like very vividly. I remember you staying off of eighth and y'all being back there like writing and you know what I'm saying, doing y'all thing. So tell the people a little bit about how you actually got into music and what that start looked like as opposed to the current standing as a CEO.
How I got into music. You know, all this is a promise. You know, it's a promise. Ruthless Killers, people always ask me how I got the name, how I come up with the name. It started with me, JAG2, my brother Blue, and my cousin Greg. It was four of us. JAG2 passed away in '98. How it turned into music was, you know, I was a teenager then, so we didn't know nothing about business. I didn't come from a musical background or none of that. So I'm like the first person in my family to really be what I am. You know what I'm saying? So I remember JAG2 had dubbed over a tape, and I heard his voice. He was rapping over a beat, and that's when the music thing clicked. See, God had his hands on me for a long time with this. He just been putting the pieces to the puzzle, and it was just certain things that I had to do to, you know, to get to where I am. So long story short, started rapping. Shout out to my brother, Cornelius Simmons. He was the first person to ever take me to a real studio. I don't know if people remember Cool D Productions. That was over there by Magnolia back in the day. That was the first studio I ever recorded at. He took me to a real studio, gave me the experience. And then from there, it was just, I just went through the motion. I was an artist though. An artist that didn't know the business. You see what I'm saying? So I was just rapping, not understanding ASCAP, not understanding copyright, not understanding publishing, not understanding radio. I'm just rapping. Because, you know, when you play basketball and you're good at it, you think
You
your
just
skill, your skill gonna get you to the NBA. I'm your typical rapper. So, long story short, went through that, went to Daytona, started a crew, started rapping, got a little buzz, got a record deal out of California. So I didn't even get signed in the South. I got signed in California. So I was going back and forth to the West Coast a lot. Then I had a bad record deal. That's what turned me into a CEO. I had a bad record deal. I had a number one song in Bermuda independently. Cross Seas, never been there, but had a number one record. And got signed. They tried to stop my motion, and I understood what they were doing. They were trying to stop my motion to reintroduce me to make it appear as if they did all the work to make me who I am. Once I realized that I'm a hustler. I out hustle a lot of people. Even back then, I was a hustler. So at the end of the day, I got out the deal. But how I got out the deal, I let go all my masters. I had to sign over all my master copies, just to get out my deal. But I was okay with that because to me the music wasn't out, so it was worthless anyway, in my opinion. So I got out the deal, went through my divorce process. I took 2011 to 2017 off. Only reason I got back into music, I used to tell people I did music. A buddy of mine, he was like, "Hey man, I got this niece. She does music. She sings. Woo, woo, woo." You know, boom. I prayed to God. This was what I asked for. If I was able to sign this female artist just by talking to her, I would get back into music. That's my sign to know that it's meant for me to get back into music. Not only did I sign that female artist, I signed a Caribbean artist as well. So I started the paperwork, started the LLC. That was the start of my journey. I never released any music with those artists. That was just, God knows my heart, and he knows his creation. So he knew that's what it had to take for me to get back on my journey. So he gave me that to show me that it was meant for me to be on that journey. I walked away from the career I was in. I went down that journey of that rabbit hole thing called music. I started losing friends along the way. I gained brothers along the way. I was cool with that. You know what I mean? And the people you see around me now, fast forward to today, 2025, because I can go on and on about the journey, but just fast forward, I went from 7th Avenue, what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I went from 7th Avenue asking people to listen to my music to when I walk in now, people know my face before I even open my mouth. I can't do that without somebody having their hands on me. You know what I'm saying? So from the awards that I've won to the awards that my artists won, they done won to all the things we've achieved out my music career. You know, it's just a blessing. You know what I'm saying? Just to say I can sit here and say I've achieved everything that I wanted to achieve. I've been on tour. I've had #1 records. I got plaques on my wall. I got awards I've won. I got magazine covers that my mama can read about me in. I've been on the news. I've been on multiple TV shows, podcasts. You name it, I've done it. It ain't too much I haven't done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's real. And so when we think about leadership, right? Because a lot of times people see CEO and it's like, oh, this is a unreachable person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're, what do we say? Above and beyond, and they're not on the same level and wavelength, right? Nevertheless, when I think about it, I still see a leader, right? Somebody in a leadership role. Yeah. And so when you think about leadership, especially as a Black man in the South and from the South, what does it mean to actually be able to guide a team and nurture talent and still stay true to yourself and who you are, despite the different variations in genre and music styles? You know what I'm saying?
For me personally, my position, my leadership position, when it comes to my team, like I told him earlier today, I'm the CEO, so I'm the forward thinker of the situation. Like with the movie situation, I didn't sit with my team and put that together. I got one with my partner. We came up with this movie together. I gave him the idea, but I also knew that he's the man with the passion behind the lens. I'm just the person with the idea. But it's my job to, okay, get the members together. Make sure these members look like this on the camera. I can tell him, but he brings it to life. But I also understand my role. You see what I'm saying? Even the CEO has a role when it comes to leadership. But you got to also understand your people, understand what make them tick, understand if they got a short attention span. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to reach through that. So I can't just think for me as a leader. I got to think about, if I make a move, how does this affect my team? Versus when you're just an artist, if you make a move and the move go bad, it just affects you. If I make a move and it go bad, it affects everything that's up under me. My artists, their companies, the people that they partner with that represent them. So that's why you see me getting nothing crazy, because I don't never want to do nothing to throw, oh man, they messed with Jerry. Jerry did that. We can't mess with them because they messed with him. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because, nowadays when you win for so long, people look for a reason not to deal with you.
What?
Come on, man.
What? They be lurking.
They be looking.
Trying to find something somewhere, like, ain't no way, there's nothing.
Nothing.
No spots, no wrinkles. The devil is a lie. You know what I'm saying? But again, back to what you said, like, whom God bless, no man can curse. Like, what's been given to you is for you. You feel me? And it doesn't matter how it might look to other people. And sometimes, like, we get caught up in that, right? Yeah. I know somebody watching. I know somebody plotting on me. And then we instill this sense of fear within ourselves. And it's like, it doesn't really matter who's watching. And it kind of goes back to that video I've been seeing on social media about integrity. And it's like, no, like integrity is something that we are lacking in our community, because it should be where, oh no, I know, like you were saying with your team, I know O gonna go and do what O's supposed to do, and I ain't gotta stand over him and micromanage and over, you know what I'm saying? Like, and we have to rebuild those integrity characters within ourselves to say, like, oh yeah, I see that land right there. I could swipe or no swiper it, but I'm gonna do the right thing and leave it there, because I know my brother or sister, whoever left it, they need it and they coming back for it. You feel me? As opposed to like just going against the grain and trying to create sabotage for like just jealousy. And we don't understand the harm that these actions cause, even though we see it played out and we reap the repercussions. But it's like, oh no, it's just a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence. Like, you were unethical and it led to this, and here we are. And now we've tainted somebody's name who's an actually good person, who's doing good for the community, unifying, bringing people together. So why would you want to hinder that? Only to make yourself look good? But look at the sky, yo. Like, all of the stars shine at the same time.
Yes, and they shine in different ways, though. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
everybody's good at something. Like, I'm gonna tell you, And I'm gonna shout out my team, and I'm gonna thank them individually because I'm on a platform. I'm looking at Dre Benji's watching right now, and I'm gonna tell you one thing I love about Dre Benji. Dre Benji keeps me aware. You know what I'm saying? He keeps me aware of what I'm blind to, because I don't live here. You see what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie to you, I used to come home and get real comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would let my guard down when I come home. And he was the one person one day, he pulled me to the side and he was like, "Hey, yo, CEO, I want to holler at you." And I'm like, "What's up, man?" He said, "I know you grown, you going to do what you want to do." But he said, "You got to move it up another notch now." And I'm looking at him like, "Well, what are you talking about?" He was like, "You're too accessible now." And I looked at him, I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He was like, "For all the things that you were doing," he said, "you got to understand everybody don't like what you're doing. Everybody doesn't like what you're doing." It was smile in our face, but they would be plotting on you. And he said, "I don't never want to see that happen to you because you're trying to be successful. But a lot of people grow envy because you are successful."
Facts.
And it took him to sit me down. And I'm his, I don't look at it like I'm his leader. I look at somebody like he looks to as a person who we can get where we're trying to go. So if we go on to war, I'm the person in the front. So if it hits me first, they know how to react to if it hits me. You see what I'm saying? But it took somebody that I roll with that, that knows about an area that I'm not in every day. I come here maybe once every other month. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I don't even announce when I'm coming here. I come in, I come out. But it took him to make it aware of just how much my name had been spread throughout the city. Because if I'm not here, I don't know. You see what I'm saying? But for him to take that initiative, he could let me walk in the blind. But the fact he pulled me to the side and was man enough to say, "Hey, bro, we got to protect you more. But you got to help us protect you. Because we understand the ship can't sail if something happened to you." That was probably one of the most meaningful conversations out of my crew that I done had. And it made me change how I move. That's why you don't see me with everybody. You don't see me with new people. You see me with the same people. And it's just to make sure I leave the same way I came home. That's no offense to the city or nobody like that, but it's just somebody cared about me enough to make sure I got home to my family the way I left them. So I appreciate Dre Benji for that. You know what I mean? Like, you got to appreciate people for the good things they do.
Facts.
V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping V.O.I.C.E.S, I'm packing V.O.I.C.E.S. Now look who creeping, look who crawling, still ballin' in the mix. It's that 6'6" long slim sticking your chick, pulling tricks, looking slick at all times when I'm flipping. Bar sipping, car dipping, Grant Wood grain gripping, still tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, pimping, the no hacking, the no packing, blowing on that GameCube Nintendo, 5% tint, so you can't see up in my window. These don't understand me, cause I'm boss hog on candy. Top down at Maxis with a big 9 handy. Pieced up, creased up, stand dressed to impress. Big boss belt buckle under my Michelin S. Oh, Gucci shades up on my braids when I escalade. When I'm riding spree wheel sliding like a escapade. I got it made, the big boss of the North. Ain't change, I still represent Swisher House. Tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping V.O.I.C.E.S, I'm packing V.O.I.C.E.S.
Fofos, I'm tipping, wood grain, I'm gripping. Catch me lane switching with the paint dripping. Turn your neck and your dang missing. Me and Slim, we ain't tripping. I'm figure flipping and syrup sipping. Like do or die, I'm pole pimping. Car stop, rims keep spinning. I'm flipping, drop with invisible tops. Bob with my drop, step out. I'm shaking the block with 418s. Candy green with 11 screens. My gasoline always supreme. Got Dodo the brand with a pan of lean. It tastes grinding to be a king. It tastes grinding to be a king. First round drop piece coming. Who is Mike Jones coming? Slab shining with the grilling woman. Slab shining with the grilling woman. I'm Mike Jones. Mike Jones, the one and only. You can't clone me. Got a lot of haters and a lot of homies. Some friends and some phony. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot all on me. Back then, didn't want me. Now I'm hot all on me. Back then, now I'm hot all on me. Back then, didn't want me, now I'm hot all on me.
Still tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, giving V.O.I.C.E.S, I'm packing V.O.I.C.E.S.
What it do is power wow, I'm the people's champ. My chain light up like a lamp, cause now I'm back with the camp. I'm crawling similar to an ant, cause I'm low to the earth. People's feelings get hurt when they figure out what I'm worth. I got 84s poking out at the club, I'm showing out. I'm a player, ain't no doubt. Wanna know what I'm about? Biggest diamonds off in my mouth, princess cuts all in my chain, wood grain all in my range, dripping stains when I switch lanes. Switch the name, it's still the same. Switch a house or switch a blast. Mike Jones, he running the game and magnificent by this cash. He made me hot, hard work took me to the top. G-Dash took me to the lot, he wrote a check and bought a drop. I got the internet going nuts, but T-Ferris got my back, so now I'm holding my this power wow, baby. What you know about me? I'm on that 5-9 South Lee, baby. Holla at me.
Still tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, tipping on V.O.I.C.E.S, wrapped in V.O.I.C.E.S, giving V.O.I.C.E.S, I'm packing V.O.I.C.E.S.
Then Trina, but Jadakiss flight actually got canceled because they rerouted all our flights. But luckily, we was coming out of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? So I had to fly to LA the first night, and then Vegas was the next day. So I went out there, we politic. You know, she actually just charted. She actually has her second plaque is actually on the way. Her song Go Low, it was number 1 in Mississippi, but then it charted number 51 on the independent DRT digital radio tracker independent charts. We charted number 51.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a nationwide chart. So, and that's based off of radio plays, not off streams or nothing like that. So,
Oh, dope.
yeah. So, you know, we was on tour most of the year. I've been gone most of the year, just traveling with her. You know, we was up to Power 105 with the Shoot the Breakfast Club. We've been to some places this year, you know, pushing that song. And I appreciate her. If I don't ever, I told her this already, but if, you know what I'm saying, I tell people all the time, I appreciate her because she trusted me with letting me do me. She was like, you know, when she came to me like, I want to make this record go, I asked her, well, what you want to do? She said, I want you to do you. Me doing me got her first national charted record. My first one off my company as well. Her company is partnered with my company. So we charted. And I was like, I remember having a conversation and Breaking the News tour. You know what I'm saying? And we've been on big platforms and they love her. When I say they love her personality, man, Empress really one of the ones, man. Like, she just got a nomination Friday for Female Artist of the Year for the Yo ATL Rap Awards. That's a big, big category. So it just goes to the testament of, you know, the work that we put in. Again, leadership, because she had the spotlight. I was behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I just make sure it went the way it was supposed to go.
That's word. That's word. All right. So, family, y'all already know how we do here. And if you don't, every episode we take time to honor our herbal allies, the plants that strengthen us from the inside out.
Okay.
Tonight, we're pulling in herbs that match the masculine energy we've been sitting with all month. Ashwagandha, ginger, and mullein. Ashwagandha is the stabilizer, supporting us with stress, building the nervous system, enhancing stamina, and bringing our spirit back to center when we are carrying too much.
Okay.
Ginger, the igniter, wakes up the blood, boosts circulation, sparks that creativity, and keeps the fire of determination burning. Last but certainly not least, mullein, the breath of clarity, a long healer, a purifier that's perfect for anyone who speaks, sings, performs, or carries emotional weight in the chest. So, Jerry, since we've talked about the hustle and bustle, the pressures, the purpose, and the passion behind the work that you do you work with any of these herbs, or have you worked with any of them? Or do you have any, wellness practices that you engage in on a regular basis to help you maintain your balance?
I ain't gonna lie to you. I have a organic pre-workout. All
Okay.
organic, no creatine. So I'm sure some of those things you just mentioned is in my pre-workout. I'm pretty sure.
Facts.
It is. As far as me taking them individually and combining them, nah, I don't do that. But when I do go work out, I take my organic pre-workout, and I'm sure I've come across some of those minerals you just mentioned. But now, as far as my health ritual, I guess you can say, I do grind so much, so I make sure I'm big on my sleep.
Okay.
I'm very big on sleep because as much as I work, the body has to rest. I know you hear that saying, I work all day, I can sleep when I die. Nah, I ain't trying to go to sleep when I die because I'm trying to wake up and get back at it again. So you got to stay sharp. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
In order for me to stay sharp, I have to get sleep. I know they say 8 hours. I average about 6 during the week, but on the weekend, I make up for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I make sure I get my sleep because I'm no good. I'm grouchy when I'm tired, to be honest. I'm very grouchy. Like, I'm not one of your nicest people when I'm sleepy. So
And most of us are.
yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? So, I make sure I give people their space when they sleepy. And it's a mandatory rule. When I'm tired, the team will tell you. We go out on the road. We'll go to the club. They want to go out afterwards. I'm like, hey, y'all got it. I'm going to the room to go to sleep. I'm the old dude on the road. I'm not finna. No, I'm good for the cameras. When the cameras go up, I'm out.
Right. That's real. That's real. I get it. But for real, because what do we say? Restlessness is almost like the equivalent of intoxication, right? And so you need that soberness, that rested mind, that rested body. Because if we don't take time to rest and actually listen to our bodies and create a routine centered around what we need and what we know we need, then like you said, we burn out and we experience it a whole lot quicker than we would like to. So if nothing else, y'all, for real, make sure that you're taking time to rest.
Yes.
To relax. You know what I'm saying? Mind, body, and spirit, because they all need each other simultaneously in order for us to be productive. And I think that's one of the craziest things that we've taken on, like team no sleep when I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to stop embracing those because they don't do us any good. They don't.
You ever notice though? The things
because I've tried it.
The things are the most unhealthiest. It's the things that they push to the forefront, and the things that are the healthiest for us, we don't hear about it. Do you really you ever really notice that?
Yes, I have. And it's crazy because I wonder how many other people actually notice and pay attention to it too. So I appreciate you for being one of the few.
Yeah.
And then if we are noticing it, we aren't speaking on it. And so I try to make sure I do my part to talk about the things that they are not promoting, because this is a part of me helping to shift and, rewrite the narrative for our people, for our culture, for our families, and for ourselves. Because I'm battling the machine for real, when it comes to media and propaganda, and it looks a whole lot more appealing. It looks, like they make it sparkling glitter, and they play off our emotions, you know what I'm saying? And so they're able to get to us. Nevertheless, I'm definitely here to counter that activity.
Yeah.
And on the subject, let's get into these little known history facts, because hey, if we don't talk about our history, who else is going to do it? Because we are continuing to write history on a day-to-day basis. Like, history is, what do we call it? Like a living document. It's a living organism. Like, even what you're saying and what you've been sharing with us is all about creating and rewriting history, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, we want to take a moment in this segment to honor a few names that don't get said enough. Tonight, we highlight two powerful Black men from the city of Albany, Georgia, whose contributions have shaped education, community, and the opportunities for us to be able to advance in the South. The first name is Thomas Chapman, an educator, organizer, advocate, and business owner who fought for Black students in the Southwest Georgia area. He dedicated his life to pushing for equitable schooling and ensuring young Black children had access to the tools they needed to rise beyond the barriers placed in front of them. Many locals know him as the owner of Chapman's Beauty Supply. And it's so interesting that back in the 60s, beauty shops were owned, or beauty supply stores, let me go back, beauty supply stores were owned by us. Now we are only the consumers. So we have to start taking these businesses back into our hands. All right. Second, Dr. R.C. Ferguson, a pioneering medical professional in Albany who served the community when segregation kept many from receiving fair health care. Dr. Ferguson offered medical care, leadership, and dignity in a time when Black families had nowhere else to go. These men remind us that impact isn't always loud. Sometimes it's built slowly, quietly, through service. So, Jerry, when we think about legacy, and you think about legacy, who are some of the men throughout history, or women even, or in your bloodline who've inspired you or continue to inspire you to keep going?
Okay, good. So this pertains to me, not just who I feel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm
Who
definitely
inspired you or who inspires you?
well, two off top. My cousin JAG2 and my pops. Cause what a lot of people didn't know is that I was finna walk away from all this last year, and my pops told me keep going, and he broke down a story that he told to me. He told me, he was like, he said, "Son, I've seen you walk in a room and people treat you like you're the president." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, all because of what you do with a gift. Why would I give that away? So, and then that, and well, and Wholehearted is a motivation too. Even though he's my artist, I will give him that as a motivation, because when I was at my dad's funeral, and you know, he lost his dad before me. But when I say he was one of the few people that I can say that I met through music, he was there, not just like through phone call and stuff. Like, he was physically there. You know what I mean? Like, when I was on the ground, I was crying outside the church, and like we closed the lid and stuff, and I went out to church, and I'm on the side of the church, and I'm just crying. Hearted picked me up, and the first thing I seen when I wiped my eyes was my record label logo. And in that moment, all I could do was smile. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember what my dad told me, and then I'm looking at my logo at his funeral. And it was just like, that's the cutie for me to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Then I've done so much more this year that if I'd have walked away, I wouldn't experience all the things that I would have walked away from. So that keeps me going because of the action that he did. If I say musically, and I want to give people credit in the city, because O.E., I remember listening to him on the radio all the time back in the day. And I finally met him at the Goody Mob show a couple years ago. And for one of my idols to know who I was, that was motivation like hell. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
And I'm gonna say a name that a lot of people don't talk about nowadays. But that little baby Nigel, that died in a drive-by shooting. I actually think about him a lot. I never speak on it, but he died around the time I won the Pioneer Award in Vegas, and I dedicated that award to him. And I look at my babies and my kids and think about how lucky I was and the pain that his mom went through, you know, experiencing that. And I think it just made me feel lucky, because it could have been me. You know what I'm saying? But God don't make no mistakes, and I know sometimes it's hard to say that, and we don't understand why he does what he does, but I seen the unity that baby brought to the city when he died. So he's a motivation to me too. I just don't speak on his name a lot because I don't like to do things for clout, but since it was a question that was asked, that's another motivation to me.
That's real. And we need that real. And the people who tune in on a regular basis know, like, sometimes these conversations and these questions can get really heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why, again, we open and we close with the breathing exercise. I encourage us, again, to take what we need and leave what we don't, because the purpose of these conversations is not just to open up scars and wounds, but also to create dialogue to help us start to heal, right? And be able to process and properly store that hurt, that pain, those tragedies that are taking place on a regular basis within our city, within our communities.
Yeah.
All right. And so, whew, as we prepare to close out, what do you want people to take away from your music, your leadership, your growth, your story overall?
Honestly, I wanted to take away. I wanted to look at the story as a whole, not just the music. I wanted to understand that I started in Albany, and I wasn't given a chance in Albany, so I left Albany and brought opportunity back to Albany. Just because you're from a place that don't offer you opportunity don't mean it makes you or break you. You just got to find your highway.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find your highway, you can always come back home. Home and never go nowhere. But just when you come back home, if you want to do good to your home, bring something that they ain't offering them home. Give them another opportunity that they're not giving home because you understood what it took to get to where you are. Instead of looking down on people and trying to scam them or just get them for money, give them a real opportunity to do something because maybe they can do it even bigger than you, but it started with you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to show people the way sometime. So just use my story as motivation because I'm going to ask you this before we get out of here. Out of all the things you've seen me do, right? You know, travel, take artists, different places, all that good stuff, Nexus. Have you ever seen another label do what I've done?
I don't even know another label. Like, for real, to be all the way honest, like, I do not know another independent record label that is doing anything remotely close to what you're doing and what you've done. Talking about from the ground up.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like, I can't say like, oh, this record label exists in Albany. This record label exists in Albany. Where y'all at? If you out there, holla at me. Like, cause I would really like to know for real and not even being funny. Like, if we have other independent labels that are local, I'm curious.
Yeah.
You know, to know where you are and what you're doing and for us to sit down and have a conversation, because if we do have other independent labels in the city or people who are not operating in the city but are from the city, like you said, you come back home. I've seen you come back home on several occasions and give back, you know what I'm saying, in a variety of ways. And so this would be like a call to action for networking and unifying for the greater good of the arts culture in this area. You know what I'm saying? Because like you say, I've seen you go a lot of places, and I'm almost certain that you still keep Albany's name somewhere, you know what I'm saying, alive. And so I think that's most definitely important and valuable, especially with the influence and the impact that music has on individuals and on our culture, that we use those tools and those outlets to actually be able to do what they're designed to do, and that's unify. Yeah. That's to uplift and awake something in our people, you know what I'm saying? And so if we're not using those tools for that purpose, then we most definitely should reevaluate what we're doing. Oh, you know what? I have heard of another label, but I ain't gonna say them on the app because I don't even. But when I think about them, I don't think about anything good.
Oh man,
I don't, and that's why I'm not even gonna call the name, because it's like they are attached to so much negativity. Nevertheless, like, they have young people on their label who are influencers, and it's like, if we're going to influence the young people in our community, in our city, we need to really be intentional about how we're influencing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Are we taking the city, keeping it where it's been with these negative dark clouds hanging over our heads, or are we actually using it to make our city a better place to live and raise our children?
Well, I'm gonna give this shout out before we get out of here.
Do it.
I'm gonna shout out. I'm gonna shout out the labels that influenced me, since we talking about Albany history, right? I'm gonna shout out Brick House Records from back in the day.
Right,
because
right.
that was the first label that I tried to sign the Brick House one time.
I remember them.
Shout out to Brick House. Shout out to Southern House because that's what Phil Mob and
Yes, they were.
So shout out to them because they went major from that independent label.
Did.
And shout out
Grouchy. Shout out to him.
And shout out Rollover Records
Ah.
because that was the reason why I got into custom record label pieces. I remember seeing the Rollover piece, and people talk about Cash Money. Rollover was the local label that made me like, yo, if I ever get a label and I get to that point, like my team gotta have like my logo type deal.
Right.
So them 3 labels, they motivated me to this day. Now I got partners that got labels and stuff like Hood Drew Records. That's Breezer Baby label. That's one of my partners. Then you got UCA Records, Underground Crown Artists. That's Y.S.E.K. Empress label. That's one of my partners. You know what I'm saying? Then you got Repo ENT. That's OG Naker. It's labels in the city. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, you know, and they need to come chop it up with you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You know, they all got stories too. I asked that question though because I asked No Jumper and I put it out there for the city. Till this day, no one has answered that question. So I figure nobody has done what I've done. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I'm the only one that's done it, but nobody has hit me yet to tell me they have done remotely anything close to what I've done in the last 5-6 years. So
yeah, nah.
That's why
because I was leaving the wedding, I was like, and they was like, you going already? I was like, yeah, bro, like I'm actually going to interview like Jerry. You know Jerry Gibson from, and they was like, nah. I was like, bro, you do know. I was like, Ruthless Killers. And he was like, if you say I know. I was like, JAG, bro. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's the homie. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, so people definitely are aware of what you're doing and like the motion that you have going. And so with any movement, I just, to you, say continue to maintain motion. Hit the gas when necessary, you know what I'm saying? But at all costs, maintain motion. Yes. You know, because I heard you say I was going to get this up last year. I felt the same way. I felt that way a couple of times, you know, like, oh, it's not getting the traction. It's not da-da-da-da-da. It's not. But then again, that comes with that outward outlook and comparing, right? And seeing what other people are doing. And it's like, nah. But I know why I was put here and why I was, you know what I'm saying, got it. And you know what I'm saying? Like you say, I'm going to maintain my lane. Yeah. And people come, people go, but those who are meant to stay and be a part of sitting at the table, once the table is built, are going to be right there with you with the drill in their hand, helping you put it together. You feel me? From beginning to end. Yep. And so, I most definitely appreciate you coming through and chopping it up with me. This has been a long overdue. Yes. But like I say, I don't see it necessarily that way because everything happens when it's supposed to happen. Yeah. And so I'm just thankful for the opportunity for you even like continuing to keep me somewhere back in the back of your cranium, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to go holler at kinfolk. So yes. Speaking of motivation and inspiration, because that's definitely a part of what we strive to do here. Yeah. When it comes to our young people and our youth, and you spoke on young Nigel, what is some motivation or encouraging words that you have for them, musically or not, just overall when it comes to them following their passions or trying to figure out what that is? Okay.
It was a saying I heard, and it just popped up to me, so I guess it's meant for me to say this. So anybody younger than me that's chasing the dream, always remember, the dream is just an ideal without work. If you don't work towards a dream, it's just an idea. That's the motivation I can give you. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Definitely does. Yeah, I remember them P's.
Zay Cole, what's happening?
Shout out and much love to everybody tuning in on the web, via social media. This has been like really exciting, and I'm over here like just cheesing from ear to ear. Like, yo, this was a really great interview. So again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule, coming back home to wrap up the movie and actually taking time to sit down with me and my supporters. And so we're going to close it out the same way we brought it in. We're going to inhale one more time. And this time, as we inhale courage. And on the exhale, we release fear. 1, 2, 3. Breathe with me. Yes, may we go forward into this next rotation with a little bit more motivation, inspiration that we need to actually continue to step into our highest selves and operate in our full potential. All right. So, in closing, our affirmation is my journey is intentional, my strength is inherited, my purpose is unfolding, I rise with discipline, I lead with heart. One more time. My journey is intentional. My strength is inherited. My purpose is unfolding. I rise with discipline. I lead with heart. And remember, y'all can always shoot me a message, thevoicesradio@gmail.com, if you want these affirmations to be sent to you. If you forget what I said, you weren't able to write it down so fast, you missed the playback, because the playback is available. All right. But do know that these affirmations are also available to you offline. And then you can always visit us at the website, thevoicesradio.com, and check out our event calendar, where we have a lot of different community events and other things happening on our calendar. And go check out the artist profiles and all of the guest profiles from past and upcoming guests, because if you ever want to know how you can get in touch with them, hear more from them, we have you covered. All right. Again, this round we brought you a double dose of Marz Majik. I'm so excited to be your host, the one, the only Nexus, your goddess of information. Until we meet again, y'all stay rooted, stay radiant, and stay rebellious. Keep that keep that magic shining, y'all. This is Victory Lap by the one and only our late brother Nipsey Hussle.